Today is the 21st of April and 153 days until there is light. Sad news for my study and, well, generally for mankind. The TikTok unsensation of the year, the Antarctic anarchists, as they have called themselves, is now kaput. I'm told it's down for started at the Indian feast when Christoph wanted them to shoot a reel for their socials. Bridget was having none of it, and apparently Christoph stormed out. And now when you log into their TikTok feed or their Insta, geschlossen. Everything's been taken down, no explanation, no back soon, nothing, gone. Christoph and Bridget are now firmly back in their rooms. Not sure if I've noted this actually, but there has been some bed hopping. And I'm not sure what's caused their demise, but I need to do some more digging. The main reason why I'm doing this is Scott exploded again this morning. He could be heard yelling in his kitchen, yelling to himself, I should add. It was something about, it isn't helping, they think they're helping, but they're not, they're really not helping, something like that, and he was yelling loud enough to be heard several rooms away. Me and Hera came out into the corridor to, see what it was, and once we realised who it was, she just shrugs and goes back in, like she's not surprised at all. So I'm clearly not alone in expecting Scott to blow, or I'm rather not alone in not being surprised when he does. And they don't even know about his past or his history of violence. But then what do I really know? Nothing like enough. I have to get to look at his Keone file. There's one in Johan's office, which Johan will never show me, but I somehow have to see it. Because I am worried about Scott, and Maria laughed when I told her to be careful around him. I told her to keep her distance from him. Obviously I tried to say as little as possible without giving anything away about how he's a dangerous fucking nutter. But I couldn't talk about his past. I had to make up some shit about him doing something silly with a knife. And she could tell I knew more than I was saying, and so I did have to admit that there were some things that I couldn't tell her, and I just blamed it on my study, which I guess is kind of true. Matteo's been getting wound up by Victor. He and Matteo were shouting at each other in the canteen, loud enough to trigger one of the hidden mics about 3 tables away, but sadly not quite enough to get the audio. I know for sure that Victor found Matteo's weak point. Maybe it was his time in the Guardia di Finanza, and then he worked a stiletto into the gap and just didn't look back. All the while, Victor, as usual, just stays cool. And he really is the master of that art. Like, on the recording, you could just about hear Matteo yelling something. It's like, what was it? Stronzo figlio di putina. Proof, were it required, that Victor can break even the calmest of people. And Victor is now totally off Matteo's Christmas list. There definitely are cracks forming in the group. I mean, how could there not be? And all it takes is Victor just to get in there and stretch him wider and wider and wider. Of course it doesn't end there. Victor strides away from Matteo, happy as Larry, another soul crushed, 16 more to go. But Matteo is human. He's carrying scar tissue from that conversation, he has to. So Matteo ended up speaking to Mark privately about how he's feeling, and he actually really opened up. He showed his vulnerability, which I was quite surprised at. This one actually did record, so refer to file AFS-R180423. Okay, so I just listened again. I have to wonder if Matteo is possibly going down with winter over syndrome. Anger, loss of impulse control, I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect. Maybe I need to invite him for a second baseline test. Tell him it's a standard or something and Keone want it, and just see what turns up. Or maybe I could lend him my sad lamp. Or is that interfering with the subject? I mean, do I want him to go down? Even testing him might jeopardise the study. I mean, he might have to go down just so I can see what happens and we can learn from it. And even if that is a bit harsh, that is what I signed up for.